Welcome back to another deep dive with us. You know, Steph, when you're working from home, sometimes you just feel overwhelmed by all the clutter. Like
Yeah,
it just saps all the creative energy,
it really does.
you know? But then you shared that case study, the one from your hypnosis training. It was about a woman named Lena, right?
Right.
And I got to say, it's about so much more than just like tidying up.
It really is. It's amazing, isn't it, how, like, a messy workspace can reveal so much about your emotions, those deeper patterns.
It's crazy, right? We're going to uncover the link between organization, self-image, and like even some hidden motivations, maybe.
Yeah, definitely.
I am so ready for this.
Me too, me too.
Okay.
Okay, so let's set the scene a little bit.
Good.
This case study comes from a conversational hypnosis training session. It was led by Virginie.
Okay.
But before you start picturing a swinging pocket watch, this isn't about hypnotizing someone into cleaning.
Right.
This is about using gentle guidance. You're really helping someone uncover their own insights. It's fascinating, really.
Okay, so no snapping fingers for a clean house. Got it.
No, no.
So tell me more about Lena. What's her story?
So Lena, she volunteered for a role play during this training,
Mhm.
and she starts by describing her problem as a, quote, small problem that really messes up my life, end quote.
Mm-hmm.
And she can't seem to keep her workspace organized. It's impacting her work, stressing her out. She even uses the phrase, like, I have a slab around me, which, I mean, that suggests that the clutter is more than just something you see. It's like a physical burden.
A slab around me.
Mm.
Wow, that is vivid. I can totally relate to that feeling of being weighed down.
Right. It's not just stuff. It's like this emotional weight. And what's interesting is she's not talking about trash or like meaningless things.
Okay.
Her clutter, it's mostly books and paperwork.
Huh.
She even mentions I'm great at organizing inside cupboards.
Wait, so she's organized in her cupboards, but not her workspace. Why would there be a difference?
That's the question. And it's something that the practitioner in the session, Marie, picks up on right away. She asks Lena, why do you tidy your cupboards but not the rest? And Lena says, I forbid myself from having a mess inside. It's like, so strong!
Forbid? Wow, yeah, that is
Right.
strong.
And she goes on to say it's so that if she suddenly died,
Oh, wow.
or was away and needed someone to grab something, someone else could easily find what they need.
Okay, so it's like those cupboards, those enclosed spaces, they have a totally different set of rules for her. But it's interesting, right? She's organizing for others, not really for herself.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, like, what's the emotional difference between these spaces for her? Why is her workspace off limits in a way those cupboards aren't?
Yeah, that's so interesting. Okay, so this is where it gets juicy.
Okay.
Lena also mentions that she's newly self-employed, and she worries her disorganization makes her look unreliable.
Yeah.
It seems like organization for her, it's more than just like, being tidy. It's tied to her professional image, maybe even a fear of judgment.
Absolutely. I mean, think about it. She's in this new phase of her career.
Right.
And it sounds like maybe those fears are just amplified because of that.
Yeah.
Like she's equating a tidy workspace with reliability, being professional.
And then she has this like light bulb moment.
Oh.
She realizes the clutter on her workspace now is like a mirror image of her teenage desk,
Interesting.
even though her mom was always nagging her to clean it. Could she be carrying like those old beliefs about work and organization with her from back then?
It really makes you wonder, right? Could her current struggles be a reflection of those early experiences? Like her mother's voice is still in her head?
Wow, so many layers already. I'm seeing how clutter can be a symptom of like something much deeper.
It absolutely can be. And what's so fascinating is, as Lena explores these thoughts and feelings, we start to see a shift in her energy.
Okay, I got to hear about this shift. What happens next?
Remember, Lena was feeling suffocated by all that clutter.
Yeah.
Well, as she starts categorizing what's left, that feeling starts to go away. She actually says the mountain feels smaller,
Wow.
and she physically feels less tension in her body.
That's incredible. Just like mentally sorting stuff out can have a real physical impact.
Right.
It's like just by naming the different types of clutter, she starts to feel more in control.
Like she's sorting through those deeper anxieties too, the ones about work and self-worth.
That makes sense. So is she actually tidying up yet?
Not yet, not quite. But there's this other interesting thing she says. She wants to give the books a proper home.
Okay.
She calls it a library of personal development.
Oh, That's a nice thought. It's
Yeah.
like she doesn't just want to get rid of them.
Yeah.
She wants to honor them somehow,
Yeah.
give them a place where they can, be appreciated.
Exactly. It's more than just getting rid of stuff.
Yeah.
It's about, organizing things in a way that supports her journey, her growth.
I wonder why that image, the library, popped up right now.
Mm.
You think it's connected to that shift in her energy?
That's a great question. And I think it really shows how our inner state and our physical space are connected. Maybe as Lena started to let go of that suffocating feeling, she made room for new possibilities to come through. Maybe this library represents, her dedication to growth, her desire to have an environment that reflects that.
I love that. Like when you clear clutter, you clear space for new dreams. But then, she hits that common roadblock.
Oh,
The whole, I should keep this just in case.
yeah, the just in case trap, a classic.
Yeah, it's like a fear of scarcity, thinking you'll need it someday, even if it's been sitting there forever.
Absolutely. Holding on to the past instead of, embracing the present.
So how does she get past that just in case thinking?
Well, Marie, the practitioner, asks her this really simple question. She says, "What makes you think that only useless things should be tidied away?"
I like that.
And it makes Lena really confront her own logic. Like, what is she assuming about what's worth keeping?
Yeah.
That one question really shook things up for her.
What does she say?
She realizes she's created this cycle. She keeps the stuff she doesn't use tucked away, while the stuff she needs is cluttering her workspace.
It's like she's got it backwards.
Exactly.
No, I've totally done that. Prioritizing storage over use. No wonder we feel so overwhelmed.
It really reinforces that feeling of being weighed down, doesn't it?
Totally. But then she has this breakthrough.
Uh-huh.
She realizes by letting go of stuff she doesn't need, like old costumes, outdated documents, she can make room for new things, new growth.
Yeah.
It's amazing how releasing physical clutter can make you feel lighter.
It's a powerful transformation. Remember how she felt suffocated? Well, she says that feeling is replaced with breathing space.
Wow.
Like she has more oxygen, she's energized, ready to start clearing things out.
It just shows, our physical space really is a reflection of what's going on inside.
Absolutely.
Decluttering isn't just about, tidying up.
Yeah,
It's about making space, literally and figuratively, for what truly matters.
exactly. And for Lena, it sounds like that means making space for her growth as a new entrepreneur, her aspirations.
Steph, how are you feeling about all this? Does any of Lena's experience resonate with you?
Yeah, totally. Especially that part about feeling suffocated by the clutter. Hearing her talk about it makes me think, maybe I've been holding on to stuff too, both physically and mentally, and it's draining my energy, blocking me from moving forward.
I think we've all been there. It's like we're clinging to the past instead of making room for what's possible now.
Right. And I also love that idea of finding an honorable destination for the things we value. It's
Right.
not about just purging everything. It's about being mindful,
Yeah.
finding a place for those things to really shine, like Lena's library of personal development.
It's about honoring those objects, the role they've played.
Exactly. And it makes me wonder, how can we do that with more than just physical stuff? How can we find those honorable destinations for our thoughts, ideas, even our commitments?
Wow, that's deep.
What needs to be released or maybe reorganized to create some breathing room in our lives?
Those are great questions. And I think Lena's story shows us that sometimes we need a little help to see those patterns, make real changes, like the conversational hypnosis techniques they used.
Right. Finding the right tools, the support we need to navigate those deeper layers to create a life that feels, more spacious, more in tune with who we are.
So what does all this mean for our listeners? What are some key takeaways they can apply to their own lives?
I think the biggest thing is, clutter is more than just a mess. It can reflect our inner state, our beliefs, even our fears. And by dealing with the clutter, we're not just cleaning up, we're creating space for growth, for new possibilities.
So it's about understanding the meaning behind the clutter and finding a way to create a space that aligns with our values, aspirations.
Yeah. And remember, it's not about being perfect or becoming a minimalist overnight. It's about those small steps towards a space that feels supportive, energizing.
That's such great advice. And it's so cool that Lena's experience can inspire others to make those positive changes in their own lives, right?
I agree. Sometimes hearing someone else's story can give us that push we need to face our own challenges and embrace what's possible.
This has been such an insightful deep dive. Steph, thank you so much for sharing your expertise and insights today.
Oh, it was my pleasure. I hope this encourages our listeners to take a look at their own spaces, and see what changes they might want to make to create a little more breathing room.
That's the perfect note to end on. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. We'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration.